We will take a little video clip of how to proper measure a person and write the measurements down to get a proper pattern. A pattern is just a puzzle pieced together. Jo, dat denk als een model als plus is een puzzle opgesteld. Want die moeten allerlei gemeten zijn van körper, dat zich keinmal contradicten, dat alle van Anfang van een alle uitkomen. Want wat niet uitkomt, dat is niet recht gemeten is. So we will anfangen. We will start measuring Maria here, and I will take a measurement and I will write it down on a piece of paper. So Maria, if you stand right here. So first of all, we will measure here by the neck, right from the side to the side, where a modest dress neck should come. I would call that 6 inches on her. It will vary. Sometimes people will be 4.5, sometimes 7, sometimes 5. So this is 6, just from the edge to the edge. And then we will write that down right here on the top. That is a 6. We will measure roughly the shoulder. So we will call the shoulder 4.5. And we'll put it right on top of the shoulder. Then we will go a little bit further down on the very upper part of the back. Usually the most people measure more here. We'll call that 15.5. It's right from the edge to the edge. And then we will write that 15.5 right here. Then we will go right in the middle part. So we will call that 14.75. And we will write that on the next line here. Then we will lift the arms just a little bit, and we will go on the side, right from the armpit, center of armpit to center of armpit. And that is 18.25. We will put that on the next line here. Then turn around. We will take a next measurement all the way around here, and that is 34.5, and that comes in this next line here. Then we will take the next one right underneath the bust, which is 29. Then the next one will be by the waist, which is 27. So we will put the 29 here, and the waist was 27. We'll put it there. Then we will go lower, right here, right at the biggest part around the hips, which is 40. And we will put that down here. Another very, very important part is on the back, turn around, is right here from the side by the hip, kind of to the side by the hip, where it would look good if her seam, and you line it up towards the armpit. So we call that 21. So we write the back part at 21 right here on this end of the line. So this, she measures in the back 21, so 2 times 21 would make 42. So the thing is, a skirt should always be measured by the back measurement, not all around. Then the next one, we go right here from the skinny part in the waist, and then we line it up here to the biggest part of her, and that is 11 inches down. So that 11 inches goes right there, so that I know how far from the waist the skirt has to have that measurement of her body size. Then we will go from on the very center of the shoulder, right here on top, down to the very skinny part of her waist. Then her piece, it's 16.5. and that goes here on the outer side of this line. Then turn around to the front. We do the same thing on the front. From there, put it on this side. From there, down. So on the front, she measures 17. So it's not very common to measure more on the front. It's most common that it's the same, and sometimes more often at the back is more. But then we go right here from the tip of the shoulder, and we lift up the arm halfway, and then we go around to the center of the armpit again, and that is 9. And that 9 we put down on this line here. That's the back of the armhole. Then we go again from the tip of the shoulder and lift the arm, and we go again to the center of the armpit, and that measurement shows 8. And that is what about 90% of people do. Their front armhole measures 1 inch less than their back measurement armhole, and the odd one is a bigger or a smaller difference. And then we measure the very, very top of the arm here. That is 12.5. And we put that measurement right here, 12.5. And then we measure right here where her sleeves would come, like midways. She is 11.5. Then for 3/4 sleeves, she is 10. So we put 11.5 here, that's midway sleeve. Then we put 10 here, that is for 3/4 sleeves. And then if we want long sleeves, then we measure around the hand tightly. That is 8. So then the 8 can go there. Then we go for the length of the sleeve. We go for a shorter sleeve, let's say we would go 7, and then to the elbow we would go 12, and then that would be 16, and then a long sleeve would be 23. So we will write all of those numbers here. 7, and the next one was 12, and then it was 16, and then it was 23. That's the different lengths. Then we lift up the arm, and then we go again similar place. 5, 8.5. Let's call it 5.5, 8.5, 12.5, and 15.5. 5.5, 8.5, 12.5. And a long one would be 18.5. Then we do another important measurement. We go again from the armpit. Then we go down to however long we would want a knee-length skirt. We'd call it 35. And then also for a long one, we'd call it 50. So that goes here, 35, and a long one is 50. Then the next one, we will measure here from this skinny part of her waist. If you would want a skirt just over the knees, let's say 27, and a long one would be 42. So we put 27 here and 42. That's the length of the skirt. So now we come around to the front and we do again the same thing by the neck as we did on the back. From the side, like when you put your fingers on the side of the neck, it's 5 inches from the front. And that is very common to be 1 inch smaller in the front than in the back, but sometimes they are 1.5 to 2.5 inch smaller in the front than in the back. But 1 inch, that is very average. And that is the problem of most neck clothes not fitting proper, sitting on the body. Then we go like this. If you would want a really small, modest neck cloth, we would say 5. And if you would want a medium, we would say 6. If you would want it extra big, then we would say 7. So that is according to people's taste. Normally what I like their tight measurement. Let's say in her case, if she would want a very modest neck hole, I would say probably 5 1/4. And then I would ask if she wants it that modest or more open. I would write this number down, and in her case, I would write down 6 1/4 as the extra. So here goes 5 1/4. That's a modest fitting neck hole. And then 6 1/4 is her preference. And then we go here from the side to the side. Her measurement would be just under 13, like barely 13. So then we put 13 and then put minus. Sometimes I use minus or plus. When it's not less than 1/4 inch, I go with minus or plus. And then this is a very important measurement. We put it at the tip of the shoulder. Then right here where the bust is starting is 6 inches. Then 10. And then the bottom 12 1/2. And these 3 measurements, the top, the center, I'll put it on this side, we can probably see a little better. 6, 10, 12 1/2. Those 3 numbers are extremely important. 6, 10, 12 1/2. A lot is based on those numbers. And then we do like this from center to center. We would call it 7 1/2 on her. That goes there. In this put together as a puzzle, it is guaranteed to fit. If a measurement is not taken proper, the measurements will not line up. They will clash while I put them together. So that's it. So if you can measure like that and message it to me, you can get the pattern that fits you well.